Hello and welcome to a review for the game 2 Parsecs from Earth, which was developed by ABX Games Studio and published by Ratalaika Games, which I want to thank for providing me a code to review this content. The game was released on the 15th of October 2020 for a price of $7.99. The game will be backwards compatible with the Xbox Series X and S, as well as its original release on the Xbox One. This being an indie developed title, shows off some basic platforming and will require 2 playthroughs to complete the entire game. Its completion should be around 2 to 3 hours and the achievement list is easy enough to follow. You will have to play a third time unfortunately to get a couple more of the achievements just for selecting the other option that you didn't choose in the beginning for each of the abilities throughout the game. You collect the abilities from these machines that are scattered around the map, and they give you extra abilities to be able to double jump, dash, teleport, and walk through walls. Your only aim in this is to collect the squares that are scattered around the map, as well as the 3 batteries. Then you're able to go back to your ship and return back to your home planet. Overall, I would rate the game a 5 out of 10. Due to its difficult to master controls and slight learning curve that the game seems to have to offer. The jumping mechanic isn't exactly fantastic and can seriously mess you up, especially on the battery segments when you have to run away from the enemy and make it to the portal at the end. It can be extremely frustrating when you don't have any of your abilities and the jumps have to be absolutely perfect. One of my major complaints with this game is once you collect the squares that are scattered around the map, if you die at any point during that screen, you will have to go ahead and get that again, as it does not save unless you leave that screen and go to another screen. Then it will save all of the squares that you collected in that screen. So if I could suggest anything, I would suggest that you collect as many squares as possible and move to another screen before you die again. That way you will save the squares that you've collected and be able to continue on. The game does have a map, fortunately, and the enemies can be a little bit buggy at times, as I've died multiple times to enemies moving faster or slower or not being in the same time rhythm. So sometimes you do actually have to wait a little while for the rhythm of the enemies to be able to jump between them to move ahead. If I could suggest something to be improved for the game, it would be the jumping being the exact same no matter how long you push the jump button for, as this would allow you to easily be able to learn the jumps and be able to know how to use the abilities better, as casual gamers will struggle with this if they've not been used to the platform genre before. Visually, I think this game is fantastic and the sound in the game is really well done. I would rate the sound and the overall graphics of the game probably a 7. The animations of the characters are done really well. I'd probably rate them an 8. And the story is very limited and would have been better with some kind of voice lines also. So I'm going to give this a 6. But like I said, my overall rating for this game will be a 5 out of 10 due to the issues that I have mentioned throughout the video. A achievement tracker would have been nice for the cubes throughout the game. Yes, I know that there are little lines at the top of the screen which tell you how many cubes that you actually have in the game, but it would have also been nice to check the achievement tracker and see the same thing. The other areas of the game that are not in the main map, but once you go through the portals for them, you will end up in other areas of the map, and the only way to exit them is through the same portal. Those areas are usually specific to abilities and make it very simple for the user to understand the mechanics of each of the abilities, which is the way that I learned how to use some of them a little better than I was originally. The hazards that are throughout the game can be a little misleading sometimes and stick out of edges and have hitboxes that are way too large for what they need to be, so making the hitboxes a little smaller might be a bit of a better idea, or adding them to the mesh of the original object. The character designs are really well done in my opinion. It's very simple and very basic, as you are a robot, as from what I can tell, who has crash landed. With it being a platformer, other secrets throughout the game would have been nice, as well as perhaps checkpoints being added into each of the levels so you can save your progress wherever you are, or even have an option to do that in the menus. A health bar could also be added into the game, as this would make it a lot easier on the user to be able to progress. But that's going to do it for now, guys. This is going to be the end of my review for the game 2 Parsecs from Earth. I want to give a shout out to Ratalaika again for providing me the code for this. So I hope you've all enjoyed, and I hope any of my tips that I've gave out so far will help you to complete this game if you do go ahead and pick it up. But without any further ado, I'm going to leave it off here. So I will see you all in the next one.